For some insight into the state of the race, we are joined by our colleague, reporter Peter Laffin of our sister publication, the National Catholic Register. Peter concentrates on politics and public policy, and former Democrat Congressman Dan Lipinski. He represented Illinois' 3rd District in the U.S. House of Representatives for 16 years until 2021, where he gained a reputation for being a strong pro-life Democrat. He has since been named the Pope Leo XIII Fellow on Social Thought at the University of Dallas. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. There's a lot to get to. Congressman, I'll start with you and your reaction to this week's headlines. What is your reaction to President Biden withdrawing from the presidential race, his resignation speech this week, and Vice President Harris becoming the likely Democratic presidential nominee?
Well, Catherine, after the disastrous performance in that debate, the pressure was really on President Biden to step down. He really didn't want to. I thought he might be able to hold on, but the pressure just became too great from people inside the party. There was a lot of talk before he stepped off the ticket, that there might be some kind of open process at the convention to choose who would replace him. But it was always clear that they would not be able to pass by Vice President Harris, that she would be the one who would step up and take his place. So, this is something that we have never seen before. People talk about 1968 and LBJ stepping down, but that was in March. Republican conventions already happened, so this is very late in the process. We've never seen anything like this, so we're not exactly sure. No one can really say how this is all going to go from here on out.
Absolutely. There's a lot of unprecedented news. President Biden often skirted around using the word abortion, but Vice President Harris does say it and speaks on the topic often. Take a listen to what she had to say at her first campaign rally as a presumptive nominee.
And we who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Peter, I want to go to you now. What should our viewers know about how Kamala Harris is utilizing the abortion issue in her campaign, and anything else that stands out to you from her campaign so far?
Yeah, so believe it or not, and this is going to come as news to many people in the pro-life community, despite being a very pro-abortion president, there is great consternation in the Democratic base, and there has been, over Joe Biden's record on abortion. Many have been upset that he has been hesitant to say the word abortion, and they're very happy that Kamala Harris says it so openly, so frequently. And many are also upset about his call, about Biden's call, that he wanted to stick to the Roe versus Wade standard for abortion. Most pro-abortion activists want to go far beyond that, and they're going to see a much better candidate for their purposes in Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, as we know, is the first vice president to ever visit an abortion clinic. As we just heard in that clip, she has no problems pushing this, and I believe she thinks that as a woman she has more credibility on the issue.
I think you're right. On that point, Congressman, it does seem that Democrats want to bring the focus back to the overturning of Roe v. Wade, because since Dobbs, the abortion issue has helped to drive out more Democratic voters to the polls. From your perspective, Congressman, is there room for pro-lifers in the current Democratic Party?
Well, I'll tell you, they didn't have room for me in the party. It was Kamala Harris, her talking points there that we just heard. I mean, I heard those over and over again. And, I was defeated in the 2020 Democratic primary. Over 2018, 2020, about $7 to $8 million was spent against me because I was pro-life. It doesn't seem that there's any room, but the problem is a lot of pro-lifers for a while have said, well, forget the Democratic Party. And I've always argued, look, if there are no pro-lifers in the Democratic Party, then the Republican Party can just ignore us. And if you look at the Republican Party platform, the last platform they had in 2016, they didn't have one in 2020, mentioned abortion 32 times. and called for a human life amendment. This year, abortion is mentioned once. It's only late-term abortion. It has some gobbledygook talking about the 14th Amendment, which isn't very clear in what it's saying. Instead, abortion is not a federal issue. So this is what happens. And that's why I kept fighting to be a pro-life voice in the Democratic Party. But unfortunately, we've gotten to this place now. Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, is going to run on abortion. And because Democrats think that's been a winning issue for them.
Congressman, picking up on that very point, as we've reported, the GOP has softened its platform on both abortion and the sanctity of marriage. There's no call for a federal abortion ban, and both Trump and his VP pick, J.D. Vance, have voiced support for abortion pills. Can you just reflect on this political moment that Catholics and pro-lifers find themselves in? How should we navigate this current political landscape?
Look, I'm not going to vote for either the Vice President Harris or for Donald Trump. That's my plan right now. Somehow we have to show that the Republican Party cannot take pro-lifers for granted. Now, it's tough. It's tough. I'm in the state of Illinois. My vote's not going to make a difference. Look, the Democrats going to win no matter what. And every Catholic is going to have to really, vote according to their conscience on. In this presidential election. All I know is it's important that we not forget that we need to be Catholic first. We need to be pro-life before we are a partisan. We need to be patriots, not partisan, as Archbishop Gibbons back in 1885 talked about this. And I think that's important for Catholics to keep in mind.
Absolutely. We need a lot of prayer ahead of November. Peter, on that note, what does it signal to you that former President Trump selected Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate, particularly as it relates to the new GOP platform?
Well, I think it signals that as much as Democrats think abortion is a winning issue, Republicans think it's a losing issue. They've removed the call for a constitutional amendment to protect life from their platform plank. And this signals something is a major retreat for the Republican Party on pro-life. And it's important to note for the pro-life community that they did this despite the fact that there were warnings that came from pro-life leaders, such as Marjorie Dannenfelser came out and gave a strong statement about a week before the platform committee met, saying, if you do this, if you remove this platform plank, there's going to be major consequences. You might splinter support from the pro-life movement. And then they did it anyway, and there really hasn't been a consequence. It's interesting for me to hear the congressman's comments on this, saying that he's not voting for either side. And I'm right now looking for polling on the future as to, okay, what do pro-life voters actually think in this moment? J.D. Vance has come out and said some things that are very troubling to the pro-life community. He explicitly endorsed access to the abortion pill on Meet the Press only about a month ago. And the host, who was even caught off guard, asked him to repeat. Can you repeat that? Do you want people to still have access to the pill? And he said yes. He has also in the past voiced support for in vitro fertilization. So I think the Vance pick, as much as it shifts many other things, it signals many other shifts about the direction of the Republican Party going forward. I think they need to do a much better job of clarifying exactly where they stand on life.
Absolutely, and it should be worth noting J.D. Vance is a convert to the Catholic faith. It has been an intense few weeks in U.S. politics. It seems we've lived a few years within a span of a few days, and we still have 4 months to go until Election Day. I'm just curious if each of you could offer some advice for our viewers on how, as Catholics, we should stay informed, but we also need to stay detached from the roller coaster that is this 2024 political race. Congressman, I'll go to you first. Do you have any advice on that?
Well, first of all, don't forget to pray. Very important here. It's tough to get good information. You don't know what information is accurate, is inaccurate. It's a really difficult time to be looking at the state of politics, but remember what's most important. As I said, be Catholic first. Understand that our faith is more important. I'm a patriotic American. I love this country, but I know that what's really important is beyond. And so, it's just something that we are we're going to have to understand we're not supposed to be comfortable in this world. And this is, as I said, a great country, yet we have to be ready to be very uncomfortable but to still stand our ground.
Well said, Congressman. And Peter, last word as a Catholic reporter following politics.
Yeah, I'd say it was very fitting that the National Eucharistic Conference was held at the same time as the Republican National Convention. I think that more than anything signaled to Catholics, hey, there is something more important than politics. There is something higher that we must always ascend to, be drawn to. I think it was a great reminder for Catholics. And I would say also that things are moving so fast. History is moving so fast that it's very difficult right now to put your feet on the ground and be sure that you're doing things that are in accord with our Catholic faith, that we're behaving in a certain way. And I would urge everybody to pray every morning and to offer this up to God, this confusion that we all feel in these moments, and say, I feel confused. I feel information is rushing at me so fast, but I know, Lord, that you can make something good for my confusion. I know that you can draw me to a higher space than I am, and I'm going to put it in your hands.
Well, that's a beautiful prayer, and I'm grateful to you both for your insight. Gentlemen, thank you both.
Thank you.